still 70 miles an hour on the water. I don't know. You got to be good to do that.
I'm not going to ski behind one of those boats. What about you?
Yeah, keep in mind here that as these boats go pounding across the surf, the attrition is very high. It really, these boats take a beating, and they do begin to break up ultimately. There's a good look at the Patriot. It's a 35-footer with three 300 horsepower Mercs.
Not to mention the driver of this, which is a female, Lisa Greger. She's the only female driver out there in a little tiny thing. A lot of power behind her. I saw her, you know, eating lots of fruits and vegetables. She says she works out constantly, so you have to have the endurance to be able to go through a race.
All right, take a look at Harmsco Hurricane. That's a 32-footer. Pulling away right now at the start, but getting some air as well. And, you know, we want to make sure and point out that that is not what these boat drivers want to do. Just the opposite. They don't want to get in the air, do they?
That's right. That's why the throttle men are so important. And John Christensen at this point really having to work.
And there is Restore with Charlie Hames at the throttle and Alan Steele behind the wheel, who is the promoter of this event. And earlier we had a chance to talk to him. If you're having fun, this is the man to thank. He is the event organizer, Alan Steele, and you got this all together mighty quick, and boy, you have really turned everybody on.
Dan, we love it. Offshore racing is a fantastic sport.
Yeah. Did you think that it would be this big when you started it, though?
Oh, man, we knew it would be. All we have to do is introduce the sport to Jacksonville, especially the beaches area, and they just love it.
Yeah, of course, beyond the fact that you are the organizer of all of this, you also race yourself. Yeah. Why did you get involved, and what does it mean to you when you pop in that boat and strap yourself in?
I tell you, it's the largest adrenaline rush I've ever had in my life. I'll tell you, the racing's tougher than putting on.
We've taken a look at the first 3 events of 1994. We move on to the final event in Galveston, Texas. It took 6 months in the making, and Joe, 7 of those 9 classes were so close in the points that they would be decided on this very last weekend.
As you said, the point battle all season long, right up to the end, right up to the last day of racing for the 1994 season. That would decide 7 of the national championships.
Now, something new in the mix was tried at Galveston, and I think everybody enjoyed it. It was a modified Le Mans start. 2 of the classes would race for 50% of their point total, coming off a dock in front of large crowds in the Inner Harbor, and I think they really enjoyed that.
I think, Steve, you're going to see more of this format in years to come in offshore racing in the APBA. The spectators loved it, and the drivers and crews loved it.
A lot of tension in the air, but the fans and the race crowd just loved it. Let's take a look at that race.
Team Florida capturing the first heat. We're set for heat number 2 as we take a look at all 6 boats lining up. We're set for the starters. Flag gets waved, and off we go as they start their second modified Le Mans start of the afternoon. And as we watch the boats accelerate away and head west down in this beautiful Galveston Bay waterfront with thousands of fans enjoying this racing action, we look at Mike Tomlinson, the chief race referee. This man was one of the people that helped develop this idea, and he's keeping a close eye on this today because with anything new, Joe, it's very important to make sure things go right and safely.
And one of the things that's happening new right now, Mobil 1 not liking its position, running in second place to the Team Florida crew. They're really pouring the coals to it out there, Steve. The boat looks very fast. I wonder if Mobil 1 can catch it. It's a new boat.
Back to racing at Offshore A, and here comes Archer Marine Special on your screen, but it's being challenged on the inside by Team Hog's Breath, the boat out of Key West, side by side as they go down the start-finish line. And Frank's Marine on the left of your screen, currently first in the national championship points race, but right now in fourth. On the outside, Patriot on the inside as they go out of turn number 4, and Patriot hooked turn number 4 too quickly and completely rolled over as this boat is upside down as it came onto the front straightaway. Now some assistance coming by as one of the A boats making their way. As we watch it one more time, you can see this boat out of Orlando just trying to cut to the inside of Restore and instead hooked the corner and barrel rolled over very quickly.
And the props continue to turn. We'll get word on the crew in just a moment as we take a look at the same corner, Steve. Here comes D69 Ragamuffin, still leading in that very competitive D class.
Ragamuffin very fast all day long, continues to set a blistering pace out in the water. And here comes Recovery, the fastest boat on the race course today, leading in that open class. And of course, US 1 saying it's a defending national champion. It'll do it again this year.
Team Gentry was fighting hard for that position, but unfortunately we've received word that they have gone down on the race course. Their race day is over, and we've also received word, Steve, that the crew from Patriot is A-OK. They're out of the water, and they will be fine.
That's great news, Joe, as the offshore C-class comes by. Hot and Nasty out in first place. Second place on the inside, Sudden Impact. And your national championship leader in points, Harris Zubaz, on the outside, trying to stay in the top three, now making a run for second place.
Harmsco Hurricane continues to lead in the pro outboard class. Alamo Water out of San Antonio, one of their proud sponsors. Interesting point, Steve. Restore now running in second place and trying to take over the lead because of the Patriot flip.
And Joe, as Venus Swimwear comes by, everything's thrown up for anew because Patriot, who was the national points leader, has flipped and out of the race. As Ragamuffin now comes by, your leader in the D class. They continue to run
water, processed water, and environmental filtration. So when you need a water filter, demand a genuine Harmsco filter. The Harmsco Hurricane Offshore Race Boat has a mission to teach all children to swim. Our race team donates all prize money to pay for needy children's swimming lessons. The Harmsco Hurricane Offshore Race Team, racing to teach children to swim.
Today's telecast of the American Powerboat Association's 1994 Offshore Year in Review has been brought to you by the Harmsco Corporation, a leader in upflow cartridge filtration, and the proud sponsor of the Harmsco Hurricane. Now down to Steve Michael and Joe Gates for their final comments.
Well, 1994 will be a year-long remembered for the American Powerboat Association and their Offshore National Championship. Tremendous racing, starting off at South Padre Island, and then, of course, the big 4th of July weekend at Sarasota. Then off to Jacksonville, Florida, where there was some great racing activity at that vantage point, a new one for the American Powerboat Association, and then wrapping things up on their national championship in Galveston, Texas. A little bit different of a race format we saw for a couple of classes. Maybe something in the future for some of these drivers and teams for next year.
Very true, Steve. 1994, as you said, a great competitive year. In 1995, soon to be honest, it's going to be more boats and more competition. And what a great place for you and I to end the year here in beautiful Key West at the Marriott Reach Resort. A terrific place. The weather's great.
We had a fun time this season. We hope you did the same. For Joe Gates, I'm Steve Michael saying we'll see you in the 1995 season. So long, everybody.